Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for Monday, December 15th, 2025. And today's mastermind is going to be all about how to make $1,000 by the end of the year. Who wants to do that? Yeah, me too. Okay, great. So it's a it's a very simple process, like most things, and it only requires 10 people to give you $100 to make $1,000. Which is like, well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. But how am I going to get 10 people to give me $100? Right? Is that the question everybody's asking?
Well, it's a little more deep than that. How are we going to get 10 people to find me and then to get the $100 from them? So to me, it's a little more deeper. A little more
Okay.
deeper, a little deeper, little more deep.
All right. So we're going to brainstorm on that because I've given you my ideas, but I'm going to let
Yes,
everybody else give you their ideas. And so maybe somewhere in there, you're going to find something that lands for you in a way that you want to receive it. Does that sound fair enough?
fair enough. Yeah. And I'm not doubting what you're telling me before, but I just, like I
Mhm.
said, I've been doing stuff like that and nothing.
And I hear you.
Okay. All right.
We gotta, there's a process. We
Yes.
gotta come up with an offer. And for most of the people here, Kat, do you have a school community? Are you on Substack? Which
I am just starting out on Substack. So I'm kind of in the same boat as he is, I don't have an audience. I have some followers on Medium, which I'll bring over, but I'm at the
Mhm.
beginning.
Okay. So what we want to do is have a very clear offer for our ideal client. And we got to know who our ideal client is. And we're not here to help everybody. We're just here to help a specific group of people. Like, I only help coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs. I don't help those executives that, or IT people, or there's like so many people doing so many amazing things. I started out trying to do that, and I tried to interview them on my podcast, and I was quickly overwhelmed and realized that just can't do that. You have to be very specific about who you're helping. And when you do that, then you understand what their problems are. And once you understand what their problems are, you can solve them. And you need to solve them one at a time, not all of them all at one time. Okay. Um, you know what they need to get to where they want to go. And there's going to be one big overarching thing that's a pain point for them. It's probably going to be something around money. Or if it's a relationship, it could be around relationships. It could be helping people keep from getting divorced. It could be health issues like weight loss or getting more fit or finding solutions to um, being more organized with your kids in the kitchen. Um, those sorts of things, but you just want one simple thing. And Andrew, you really do have a good offer. He's got a 35-minute fitness
Audio. Yeah.
audio. Um, but he needs to be able to put the landing page up in a way that his ideal client says, "Oh yeah, that's me, dude. I'm so there. I have to have this." And because of the way it's priced, it almost needs to be an impulse purchase. You could charge
Yeah.
more. You should charge more, honestly.
Okay.
And you shouldn't tell them it's a 35-minute audio thing. That's
Okay.
irrelevant. You should tell them this is this is the step-by-step plan. It's the plan for helping you drop that 10 pounds and get your mojo back. Get your swagger back by
Okay.
the end of January. When you whip
Makes
that
sense.
towel
Makes
off in front
sense.
of your wife, she's got to have you, whatever. Um, so so we're gonna get an offer together. And even though you think, oh, I'll just give this away, no names, Maria. I want you to charge for it. And I want you to start at $47. And the reason I want you to start at least $47, and though I know there are other people out there that are like, oh no, I'm just going to charge, whatever. You need to charge enough that it gets their attention and they realize that they're going to get a real good result from it. And they're not just buying a candy bar off the stand as they're going through the checkout line. You want your stuff to be premium stuff, not cheap stuff. Okay? You start training your clients to want cheap stuff, and you're gonna always have to do cheap stuff. Okay. So we got the offer, and then you can either have it a flat offer or you can give them an expanded offer by becoming a subscriber to your Substack or becoming a member of your community at the premium level. And I only do annual subscriptions and premiums. It's just not worth it to me to be doing monthly returning things because every month your clients are going, I wonder if it's worth staying another month. And almost everybody's busy. So and it's going to be January and they're going to be like, well, no, I got all these Christmas bills to pay. That's got to go. And so if you make them do either the purchase or the full year, or give them a discount for the full year membership, um, by applying the payment that they made for just buying a one-off, that's also an option for them. But the premium membership or the subscription needs to offer at least a weekly check-in where they have contact with you and you can have conversations with them. And you can also help them to understand that there's other things they can do with you. And then you lead them down the path of getting more and more help. And they'll tell you things that they need help with as you're working with them. So, like I said, that's option number one is just to have the flat out offer. Option number two is to send them to an audit, which is also an offer. You're going to charge for the audit. If you do a 20 or 30-minute conversation with them to solve a specific problem, this is more for you because you can help them solve one problem with Reiki. Um, just one problem, and you're going to tell them, I'm just solving one problem. And I think money blocks is a really good thing for you to hit on this year. Um, so I'm offering a 20-minute Reiki session with you, one-on-one, where we're going to spend 15 minutes overcoming your money block, and then we're going to talk for, you don't have to tell them that, but in know as you're setting up the discussion, you're going to give them a worksheet or whatever, something that they have with it, and you're going to give them a consult in a way, like what other problems are you having that Reiki can fix for you? And then you're going to make the offer that they can come and join your community or your Substack. And do you have a school community yet? Okay. Are you thinking about starting one?
I mean, like barely started thinking about it this morning. I mean, I'm new to school as a student, so I don't know if I'm there yet to have my own program on there.
Well, it's
Something we're thinking about.
something worth thinking about. You're muted, Maria. Maria, you're muted. That was very dramatic,
Was
whatever you
so
were saying.
passionate about what I was saying, and then I was muted, me being me during Mercury retrograde. Ires, you're in my community, you know what's in there. And I was like you, Jill can tell you, it took me 3 months to finally open it. And then once you open it, you just go with the flow. So it's not time. I can tell you for experience that I'm not ready, I am new. It's an excuse that we make for ourselves. And I'm telling you this from a place of love because you're in my community and I'm happy to have you there.
Thank you. I'm excited to be there too. And yeah, you're right. I think I just don't want to bite off too like more than I can chew right now because
Mhm.
I'm doing so many things at once. But I think it would be good for me to start brainstorming, what would that look like if I did create a school program?
Well, your first step is just going to have an offer, but then in a school community, it's a way to get people actually into your school community because you tell them, "Hey, I've got this community and we do all these cool things." And one of them is a group. In a group setting, we solve problems weekly with Reiki. We do Reiki energy work. And then the next level is like one-on-one Reiki work, and those are like in the thousands of dollars a month or a year category. Um, to do that program with you. So that's your VIP offer, your premium offer could be like 100, $200 a year is reasonable. And then do your $47 offer for right now and tell everybody you know. Who do you know that has money blocks that would like a 15-minute Reiki session or 20, just call it 20 or 30 minutes, whatever you want to call it, Reiki session to overcome that money block to start the new year. And
No, lots of people.
that's the question you ask them is who do you know? Not do you want? It's who do you know that wants? And they'll say, I want it, and four of my other friends want it too.
I see. Okay.
And you have a calendar link, and you let them go to the calendar link, and on Calendly you can connect that to Stripe, so you can collect your payment right up front, and you just show up for the meeting. And you would need to do 20 of those, 21, maybe 22 technically, in order to make $1,000. So I
That's a
don't know
really
about
good
you, but
idea.
for $47, to get your money blocks cleared.
Yeah, that's
Who'd
pretty
want to
cool.
do that? Let's do a show of hands.
Jill has a, am I on? Jill has a
Yeah.
unique way of making everything sound so simple.
It,
And
it really
it
is
is
simple.
when you really apply it. But yeah, it's us getting to where Jill is because we all want to be there.
Yeah, no, but it's helpful because I think we tend to believe in everyone else, but then when it comes to ourselves, sometimes we'll doubt or question ourselves more. So I think that's the beautiful aspect of being a coach is you get to help somebody else to look at themselves the way you see them or look at what they're capable of, and sometimes people need convincing of that, even us.
Everybody. Yeah, Jill is amazing at that. We love you, Jill.
Oh,
We
love you too,
do.
Kathy.
But on a serious note, I really like how you flip the script of who do you know that could use this at this price. And that it's mind blowing because it's something that I can use for my low price offer as well.
Mhm.
So thank
Everybody
you.
can use it. And you aren't to the affiliate part yet, but eventually you're going to get to the part where you're going to have an affiliate offer with your school community.
Mhm.
And it's an easy way for people to share their link with people, and it's just like, who do you know that needs
Would
help
be
with?
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so let's kind of go around the room. We're going to start with Andrew because Andrew's been on the call with me like all day, and he's
And you're sick
desperate.
of you're sick of seeing me.
I am not sick of seeing you. I really do look forward to seeing you, Andrew, and I really did think about you the whole time I was driving home. It was like, I just know that's what I'm going to talk about this weekend or this Monday.
Well, thank
So,
you.
so Andrew, present your problem. And we're just going to go around the room and have people give their suggestions.
The I guess the problem that I feel I have is no one has seen the stuff I've been throwing out there for a long, long, long time. And I feel if and of course everyone feels this way with their own stuff, that if they do see it, I at least it would put me in a direction. They'll say, "Hey, this really sucks. Don't do it," or "Hey, this is great. You need to do more of it." So my whole thing is, all right, if no one sees your stuff, how do you know if it's any good or not? And so, because again, everyone assumes their stuff is good, and that's my problem right now. Is I think if people start seeing it, at least it'll give me some direction of where to go. Now, Jill's been doing great, help me out with some of this, and I have to agree, the product I have for $17 is worth more probably. So I'm upping it to 27, and I'm making those changes that you said, Jay, that you requested, not requested, that you encouraged me to do. Put it that way. So I'm making those changes on it as well. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know if I answered the question or not. I have a tendency to ramble.
I think his question is, how does he get people to see his content?
What is his content?
Well, my content is for the fitness over 50 done easy crowd, and I'm more refining it after speaking with Jill, and it's more going to be geared toward men over 50 who basically used to be former high school and college athletes that are no longer in the athletic realm whatsoever.
Helping them get their swagger back.
She's very good with these little phrases and her thoughts. She has a unique way of thinking.
Yes.
You really do, Jill. You really do.
Well, I'm trying to get him to lean into something that he's resisting, but I'll get him there.
I don't know. I'm resisting it. So
Okay.
at least if I do know,
Let's hear you say it then.
It's
Men over
unconscious.
50 who want to get their swagger back.
the men over 50, former athletes who want to get their swagger back.
Yep. You don't even have to say former athletes, because former athletes
I was
used
gonna
to swagger.
Okay.
I can ask my son. He's a former athlete. He played pro lacrosse. He's 43. And he's trying to get back to how he was.
Send him to Andrew's website,
Yeah.
his Substack.
Please. Yes, that'd be
So
great.
who do you know? Well, Kathy knows her son.
hmm
Yeah, send him over there and see what he thinks of the
Okay.
of the
I
of
just
the of
wrote, I
the
just
of
wrote
the,
your
the
name
page.
down.
Okay, thank you.
hmm
I'll send you the link to his Substack here after this.
Okay.
Actually, Andrew, say it out loud so
Well, I
that
could,
it's on the recording.
My Substack, it's Andrew Poletto at Substack at Andrew Poletto, AndrewPoletto.
yeah, I
Also,
can
you
just
can go
go right
to
in.
Substack.com.
But I can go in Skool and click on him, right? And then see
Yep.
him. Right.
yes, you
Yep.
can do that as well.
Okay.
You can also just go to topfitnessstrategies.com and it'll take you over there as well.
Okay.
Okay, Tracy. Well, anybody else have any ideas for Andrew? We're not.
I was actually gonna ask him because I've not been on the call for a couple of weeks. I don't know. We at some point we threw in the mist the idea of the gentlemen's club, and there was the gentleman in Jason group looking for other men to create the gentlemen's club. Have you looked into it?
No, I have not.
Signor Polito?
Well, Gentlemen's Club is very catchy.
now, now, I can tell she wants to yell at me in Italian. I can tell.
Exactly.
Non sta a preoccuparte. Okay, there you go.
No, but I think that is a really good idea for for visibility. It honestly is. Or even that community that I send you the link where the guy's talking about style, because especially for men, they're more into the physical side of things than just the look when it comes when it comes to clothes. So that I still think it's a very viable way to get visibility. I don't know if you do any exercise videos.
No,
I'm not saying start dancing on reels because then we would have to have another conversation, just you and I, if you do something like that. But
I'm
like
actually a pretty
maybe
good dancer, just to let you know.
I know, but it's the real thing that you're better than that. I know you are. But I don't know, maybe make it something or
Okay,
yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Send me that link again that you sent me, but so I don't have to go hunting for it again.
I'll do that. I'll do that. It's not a
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you.
No.
Grazie.
Prego.
So I just thought of I'm good friends with an NFL player. He was a kicker, Sean Landetta. He was on the Giants. So I can have him look at your page too.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
See? Pays to have friends, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just took out his card because I couldn't remember his last name. So he played in the NFL. He's got two championships, two Super Bowl championships.
Wow.
He knows how to work out, so we'll get some feedback from him. He's really good.
That may not be my target audience, though.
Ah, well, you just get some input. I'll just ask
Yeah.
him to look at it, see what he
Okay.
thinks.
Thank you.
You can always use connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Think of
So,
it as a networking.
mhm.
Yes.
I mean, he's got parents, he's got relationships with other people who aren't on the NFL level, probably,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Yep. Yep. I'm sure he does. Yes.
So, anybody else want to weigh in with Andrew and his question? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was even thinking like if there is, the part of you being you, it's your dual heritage. If there is some way that you can expand it to the Italian side, not necessarily speaking
That's just,
Italian, 'cause I never spoken Italian to you, so I don't know.
I
Uh,
speak it. Yes. Probably not nearly
well,
as well as you, I'm sure, but I do speak it. Yes.
mine is terrible, but that's not the point. Like trying to find, trying to find ways to be visible and link it to your heritage.
it's
Having
the
lived
whole
in
swagger thing is why I lean that way. It's because
Mhm.
there's a certain amount of that comes with it. To me, swagger is like poise for men. It exudes confidence
Mhm.
and pride in themselves, which is it's
It's quintessentially Italian. Like if you think about the archetype of the Italian man,
Mhm.
the way they dress, the way they conduct themselves. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not dissing anybody or hyping the Italians because I'm a proud Londoner above anything and everything. But even if I think about, when I was learning about men's styling, the history of the suit, the difference between an American suit and an Italian suit,
That was good.
it's two different styles, two different purposes. So if you
Okay.
can brainstorm ways to lean into your dual heritage and the image of the Italian man. That may be just from the top
Okay.
of my head.
American
All
men want
right.
to look cool like the Italian men in their cool suits. Yeah, I got you.
Because usually the American suit, for example, this I'm not, like I said, I'm not dissing anybody.
No,
It's more for like someone who tends to be a little bit overweight. He hides more because it's baggier. The Italian suit is a lot
I'm
fitted.
fitted.
So like if you want to fit into an Italian suit, then you've got to do the work.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be difficult. It can be easy,
Yeah.
but you've got a plan for it.
Mhm.
Okay.
You
Appreciate
have
that.
the answer.
I don't know if I like the word swagger or not, because that's not what it means to me, what you think, what it means to you, I should say. Doesn't mean to me that. It's more of a diss for guys. The way I'm the way I see it.
Hmm. Well, I was said you might try dapper.
Hmm.
Dapper might be another word. Or if you can find
Okay.
an Italian word that's like whatever that Italian word is,
Okay.
put that Italian
Like
word in there.
la bella figura or something along those lines.
Right, right. Okay.
Uh, Let me ask you this. When you are thinking about what you want to help men achieve, like we're trying to distill it down into a word, but are you trying to help them get more strength or just get back into exercising? Like what is it that you want them to, what's the
Better their
product?
health. We could be,
Better health?
yeah, the more I talk to guys who are basically over 50 years old, and
Hmm.
for me, it was starting when I was 45. I say, this is getting out of control. I need to do something about it. The more I'm seeing that they are way, way, way into the bad health portion of their life. They're on medication. They're overweight. They're this. They're that. And I don't believe that every guy wants to spend the 3 hours in the gym to look like he did back when he was in high school and college. I don't believe that. Would they like to? Oh, of course. I don't know of a guy who doesn't want to have the six-pack abs and stuff like that. But they're not going to put the effort into doing it. So let's get them on the path to a little bit better health tomorrow than what they were yesterday, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that to me, as we were talking, I was thinking you were really talking about like getting that sort of confidence back through exercise. Because when I think of, men who are aging, just like women, they start to, feel less virile, right? And so that's what I thought. And when they were saying things like swagger, that's what was sort of, coming up for me. But it sounds like you're saying something a little bit different. It really sounds like it's more like reclaim your health, reclaim your strength, reclaim, what you had when you were younger, but from an older man's perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah.
Because there's something about like young guys that, it's like they walk around with their little chest puffed out and they're all like, yeah, I'm awesome. And older men, as we all do, seem to lose some of that confidence over time because, things happen in your life, bad things happen to you. And so
Hmm.
you don't have that I'm going to live forever, swagger anymore. And so, but you don't need it anymore because you're older, you're more mature, you're wiser. And so those are the kinds of things that it sounds like you're trying to get to them. Like have that youthful confidence from a mature perspective is what I'm
Oh, I
hearing.
like that. Youthful confidence from a mature perspective. I like that. I'm
I
writing that
like
one
that a
down.
lot too, yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
And can you say it in Italian?
No. Youthful confidence with what? With
Mature
From a
with
youth
perspective.
perspective.
okay, mature perspective.
Now, from a mature
Mm,
perspective, yes, youthful comfort from mature perspective.
yeah, I don't think I can say that in Italian. I got to get my mom to translate that. Then what after she tells me that I can figure it out. Yeah. I mean, with a mature perspective.
I wouldn't even know to translate that.
Hey,
Okay,
Jason.
cool. Okay, I've taken too much time. Let's go to somebody else now.
All
No.
right, let's move on to
Thank you. I really appreciate it, ladies. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's help you, Tracy.
Okay, so you just asked Andrew, like you just said, what is your problem? Because clearly you talked about it before. So what is my problem, like where I'm stuck today, or what? Can you better define that question? Because I've got a lot
Okay.
of problems.
Well, which problem can we solve for you today? No, when it comes to just creating an offer that you can sell right away for $47, how are we going to work with what you are already doing to create something that you can reach out to people and offer them this thing for $47 where they're going to get um an immediate solution to a problem they're already experiencing?
Mhm. Um, so I guess my issue there is that I I keep thinking to myself, does anyone actually need this? Right? And so and I'm trying to define more clearly what it is that they need, you know? Because what I do is I help people find folklore and magic in their day-to-day life. And so when I think about like most classes or seminars or whatever it is in that area, it's either about here's what the stories are, right? And it's just like I'm going to tell you a bunch of folklore stories, or it's about here's how to do this particular kind of magic, right? And it seems like I'm somewhere in the middle of those two worlds. And so it's hard to figure out if anyone's actually looking for what I am doing.
Thoughts? Go ahead, Maria.
So from the perspective of someone who's into magic, I think that it's a lot more people are curious about that world without necessarily wanting to go as far as practicing magic per se.
Mhm.
But like little things, which I think you mentioned last time that we met, like stirring the coffee anti-clockwise or clockwise if you want to repel or attract something,
Right.
or do your affirmation in your drink, or use a crystal spoon depending on what you want to attract, green aventurine, moss agate for grounding. So it's very easy to follow step for someone who's curious about magic, but at the same time, maybe even fearful to go to, let's do spells or practice this kind of things. So this is how we put it. And if you can then add the side of there's a story to it, I think it makes it even more fascinating and interesting. So that would be my take on it. I don't know. Did you start the Skool community or not yet? Last time?
I have not yet.
No. Okay.
Okay.
But even on Substack, because you said you mentioned, I know you have the book and there's a book coming out and that you
Right.
wanted to do classes or maybe leverage YouTube for this kind of things. I know
Mhm.
you had a podcast at some point.
I
Uh,
do. I have two podcasts.
okay. So this is how I would do it from the side of someone who uses magic. Like I use color magic in my practice, and I make it in a way that is accessible to everybody without having the fear, the negative thing, like am I gonna summon something that is gonna go against
Right.
me or something like that,
Right.
because there is still a lot of fear, when you say magic.
Yeah, I think that people also they don't want to feel like they're being goofy, like, oh, magic, you know.
Yeah,
But like people all the time practice superstitions and,
yeah,
like and they don't feel weird about that. And so there's lots of magic in people's daily life that they don't notice because it's more socially acceptable.
yeah, exactly.
You
Mhm.
could teach
Or
them something
something,
practical. like how to
Yes.
build a fairy garden
Right.
outside your house. Um, and you cover the dangers and you cover, the good things and
Yeah,
you cover all the rules because people don't understand rules about fairies. Um,
exactly.
they think fairies are just, I know because it's what I thought
Yes.
till like very recently. Oh, fairies are wonderful. Well, not
Yes.
necessarily. But
Yeah.
there's a big window there because people don't understand. And magic is in this world. Whether
Yeah.
you acknowledge it or not, it exists. And yeah, something as simple as that. You could sell it on your podcast, you can sell it in your communities.
That's really interesting that you say that because one of my top listened to episodes ever was
Mhm.
the one that I did on dark fairies.
You said, yeah, you mentioned that. Yes. Because people don't expect it. They have this idea of Trilly from Disney, which if you look into it, that she's a very dark character in his own. Or another thing that came to mind is like how to, the fireplace. People have fireplaces in their home, how that's the heart of the house and the house spirit, so how to tend to your fireplace.
Mm-hmm,
These
mm-hmm.
are all, kind of things.
Yeah.
Or, what to do the first of the month with salt and cascarilla.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
I
great.
think
Those are
there's
great
a
ideas.
really big market for this kind of things because our small actionable steps that even if somebody has never done it before but has a problem or it has at one point in their life like I have nothing to lose. If I start stirring my coffee anti-clockwise, will my luck improve?
Right,
They would do it
right.
rather
Um,
So
than sigils and all these kind of things.
I have a question for you. What is the difference between magic and superstition? And I asked that because when you keep talking about magic, my mind goes towards, Penn and Teller. But when she says stir in the spoon clockwise versus counterclockwise, to me that's superstition. So I would assume I'm not your target audience that I'm
È
thinking
perché
this
sei
way.
italiano. È perché sei italiano.
Yeah,
A
see, see,
a
see.
lot of what we call
okay.
superstition, it's spirituality. Like our grandparents and great grandparents did
hmm
it because
hmm
they knew what they were doing. Like silly example, my mom was taught in school this little kind of like a nursery rhyme to get rid of the hiccup. And she taught it to me as a kid, like she didn't believe in it. But to this day, if I have a hiccup and I said those exact words, the hiccup goes away.
hmm
But that would be considered superstition where we come from.
To answer your question, I think that
hmm
I'm not talking about like sleight of hand or stage magic, right? I'm
Hmm.
talking,
Okay.
if I'm going to define magic in the sense that I'm using it, I would say that it is being able to affect yourself or the world around you without any mechanical intervention, right? So you put some energy into something and it changes, right? And I think that there's a lot of different ways people practice magic. Some
Yeah.
people are, like they like a big ritual. Some people don't. They want to incorporate little things. A lot of people have altars, for example, to like their ancestors, and they work with their ancestors. And a lot of people have deities that they work with, right? So it's a practice. It's not necessarily a spirituality. A lot of people combine the two. And I don't remember if we were talking about this last time or not, but like I know a lot of Christian witches, for example, right?
Yeah.
And people don't like to call themselves witch in a lot of cases because it's not socially acceptable. And there are places where people live that they are still persecuted for it and they can't
Mhm.
talk about it. And so, if you want to incorporate magical things into your life, but you can't talk about it, first of all, we call that being in the broom closet. But you can, there's a lot of things. You don't need to have like an official altar and be like, this is my chalice. You can have a cup that is, your chalice, and you don't have to display it or talk about it. There's a lot of different things that people can do, whether or not they want to, make it their whole vibe.
Yeah.
And
Does
there's
that
a
answer?
lot of magic that fits into religion too, but people,
Andrew,
because it's in religion, they think it's not magic.
Yeah,
no,
like,
but I wanna give Andrew a practical example. You know how Italians have the photo of the disease on a mantelpiece or on a chest of drawers, and then maybe there is like some images of a saint
Mm-hmm.
or the Madonna, and then you light up a candle or you have one of those sort of permanent lights. That is what you would call an altar, ancestral
Okay.
altar, the way
Okay.
we would do it in Italy.
Okay.
I've got my
Thank you.
ancestral altar right there.
All right.
And I light a little candle sometimes. Sometimes I put out an offering of a little whiskey. And
Hey, now you're talking my language. All right.
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
people act weird about magic, and then they go to church on Sunday and get communion and believe that it is like flesh
The
and
body and blood.
yeah, it's like
Hmm.
vampire
That's
zombies.
magic. That's
So
magic.
should I not have my fairy hair? Ah,
Only if
All
you're
right.
respectful.
I get my fairy hair every 3 months.
Do you did you do you have an idea about where to go
Yep.
from here, Tracy?
Yes, I
Are we
do.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Jill. Hi.
I
Hello.
waved to you when I drove by this weekend.
Hey, where'd you go? Back
I
home?
was in Arizona. I came back home.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you're home, back in your digs. So is the question, what would a $47 product to look like at the moment?
Yeah. If you
Okay.
if you could put one together and then offer it as a $47 offer or offer a premium annual premium community membership for $100 or $200, whatever your annual premium membership would be. How could you put that together? What would that look like, do you think, for you? How could you solve one problem really fast for your people?
So solving one problem really fast, you would still have that as a premium membership? So just solving the one
I
problem?
Yeah, I would offer that because it's a reason to become a premium member because they're also going to get extended for the whole year. They're going to spend time with you and they're going to get other things that they're going to be able to do with you. Um, which would be why and it's exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Because when you had first mentioned it here going through with Tracy, I was kind of thinking more of a one-off product, but obviously, yeah, if you include it into your premium membership as one of those one-off products that they get, that's a great idea. So a couple that come to mind for me, one would be around creating an offer. So
Mhm.
actually having the blueprint to create an offer and put it together. I was also thinking, I could do something very similar to what you're doing today in the mastermind, how to
Mhm.
create your first $47 offer or your low ticket offer as opposed to naming a price. So actually walking them through that. I also like the idea of creating your customer journey. So you understand where your low ticket would meet your mid ticket, would meet your high ticket. I think there's a lot of disconnection as people put their offers together. So I think that would be another one that I would
I think that's a
consider
really
doing.
needed one.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if the blueprinting is too broad and people are looking for the specific, how do you set up your Substack or how do you say, launch your podcast or launch your YouTube where that's more specific. But I do think it's important to have that blueprint of which step leads to next.
Everything builds off of a foundation. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I keep coming back to the offer thing. If you have nothing to sell, if you don't know what that thing is that you're selling, you can talk to all the people in the world, but you're not giving them anything to buy.
Yeah.
So once you get that idea down about this is why you need to be a premium member. This is what I offer. It's specific, the results are tangible and measurable, and within a specific time frame, you're going to get this. And then you're going to be off to the races. You're going to be able to make so much money because that's what people really want to do. They want to make money. They want premium clients. They want better lives. They want better relationships. They want better health. And those are the main things that people are after. And if you can show them how what you're offering can make those pieces of their life significantly different quickly
Mhm.
with the least amount of friction, you're you do it a couple of times and it just like it becomes easier and easier, and you get in conversations with them and you can make them more offers and bigger offers and better offers. That it all starts with building that foundation. And most people don't realize this. I'm coming to realize they just like they make disjointed things. They create courses and then don't understand why it isn't selling because it's not connected to anything and it's not connected to their brand really. And they're it's not their fault. They want to do all these things, but they don't have a blueprint for doing it. And I think you are really good at that, at showing people how to set stuff up. That GPT that you created for launching an offer, I think that's what it was. That was amazing. It was really helpful.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. I do really enjoy that strategy part, even for Tracy. I'm already getting pictures of, oh, this could lead to that, could lead to that. Because
Mhm.
just people understanding about, like you said, how to see magic in everyday life right now. But you could even come at it from the aspect of, what's been forgotten, what's been hidden, hidden magic that's still practiced today. Because people always like to, oh, I don't know about this, how I've missed it. It's been kept from me. It's a secret that we've lost, through the ages, whatever little angle that you want. But yeah, thank you, Jill. And I, for my community, we're just getting ready to launch tiers, I think later on this week. And our free tier focuses mainly on the craft of coaching.
Uh-huh.
So there's going to be there's free peer coaching, there's free coach training, there's free masterminds all around the craft, and then the business of coaching is where it gets into the tiers for us. And so the first tier, the premium, will be around the foundation of the business, and then the VIP is around really kind of going deeper. So you've set up the foundation, but now you're working on a specific traffic source, or you're working through creating those more specific offers, and there's live trainings and feedback sessions in there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment for my community.
I think you're going to find that if you have a specific offer attached to going premium, that you're going to get more people to go premium.
Thanks.
That's been my experience, and that's why I posted over in Schoolers today about this very thing. Is I've seen a lot of people like freemium doesn't work.
Hmm.
Well, it does work. You just have to give them a really solid reason to be part of that premium group. And you need to make the premium membership, it needs to be annual and it needs to be not so significant that it's going to require a lot of decision making in
Hmm.
order to be part of it. And it may be a loss leader, but make your VIP offer like significant. You could do $100 a year or $200 a year for your premium offer and make it $5,000 for your VIP offer. That is not too big of a stretch. Make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah. Right now it's not blowing my mind, but it's definitely stretching. Yeah.
Mhm.
What we're considering. Cause I've also got another membership outside of that one. That's kind of
Mhm.
my next tier up. And then the one-on-one coaching beyond that. So yeah, just making sure that there's room for all of these to exist in a ladder that makes sense to go through all of them. But I love the idea of having a
Mhm.
specific outcome or offer that's attached to each tier.
Are you going to have two groups?
Yes.
So you could push the freemium group into your tiers group and use that. use this offer that you're going to create, the $47 offer that leads into the premium in your freemium group. This is getting confusing.
Right.
To get people to move into your tiers, because then you're also going to include, sorry, my dog is being obnoxious. Um, you're also going to include a one-on-one conversation with them where
Mm.
you're going to like have seriously talk to them about where they would fit in the tiers program, because not everything is for everybody, and
Yeah.
it's easier if you just have a conversation with them. And sometimes it's going to be like, no, you're not ready yet, just stay in the freemium pond and swim around in the premium level.
Yeah.
And
I have, so thus far, the experience that I've had is with the free group. I think you do get more people to at least begin to be a buyer, right? In that,
Mhm,
by using the tiers in there and then going, because it was a more difficult transition to get them to go from the free group to the paid group with them being separate,
mhm.
and some separate focus on each of those groups. So I'm looking forward to having the more of the paid offers inside of the freemium type model now.
I listened to Sam Evans talk about having two communities,
Mm-hmm.
and something he said struck struck me, and he based it off of conversations he'd had with other people, but one of them I remember was Evelyn Weiss. And he said that people that had the free community and the paid community, that he noticed that those people that were part of your paid community were also usually part of your free community, and they did all their talking in the free community.
Yes.
So that alone was why I combined mine into just one community, so I could focus all of that energy in one space. And I don't know how you get around, the proprietary stuff, because you can't really separate stuff out. But just something to keep in mind, because it's Sam's baby, and
Yeah.
Sam speaks, I listen.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think we had the discussion before as well, Jill, that in the paid community, it's like crickets, but in the free community, there's a lot more interaction, even by the same people. So yeah,
Yeah.
driving that and having that freemium model, I think is excellent idea.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Christina, did you need to jump in here, or are you good? I know we've talked a lot today. Get down, Charlie.
I think I'm good because I at least have an idea of where I'm headed. So,
Okay.
thanks.
We're here for you if you got questions.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. All right.
Quick question, if you're all right with it, Jill. Just
Yeah.
curious if anyone is planning on doing a January launch of any sorts, if that's anything that's been brought up or on people's radar in regards to your business.
I'm launching a podcast launch in January
Nice.
for
Yeah.
everybody who's redoing their podcasts. And you're doing something with the launch in January? Your launch is happening in January?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I haven't decided exactly what we're going to launch, but we are going to be doing a challenge model for the January launch. And we're still refining it down. I think right now we've got kind of like three finalists that do we want to focus on this problem, that problem, but each of them, focused on a specific pain point and a quick win that they can get within the 5 to 7 days, and then something that they can continue to take part in after that. That would be part of the tiers. So the free, everyone gets the free, but then they can upgrade to a tier to get further, information interaction.
Yeah,
Anybody else thinking they're going to do a challenge?
I'm planning on launching something for January, whether it's movement or meal prep kind of thing with my premium membership, like you were talking about,
Yeah,
as well as
Christina.
working on a podcast.
Yeah. Have you done anything with AI and meal prep?
Yes, in some ways. I follow Trim Healthy Mama, so sometimes AI gets it right, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
But yeah, my avatar is a busy mom, busy Christian mom who's just trying to take care of everybody else, but also needs to pour into her own cup with systems that work, that make it easier to
Yeah.
eat healthy and live healthy.
I think that would do exceptionally well in January. Anything you can put together around that. I've seen a couple of people use like make a custom GPT that can help the mom create a meal plan. Like you said, sometimes it gets it right or wrong. The nice thing with the custom GPT, you can put in there whatever recipes or whatever data you want it to
Yeah,
reference. So that certainly would be helpful. But yeah,
I do too. Thanks.
I love that for you. Yeah, that'd be, and it's a great month. All of them are thinking about how can we be more healthy as a family, as a person.
Yep.
I'm looking at the February 17th launch because that's when my book goes from pre-sales to actual sales. So that's what my and I think it's not a terrible time of year for me. And I agree that January is perfect time for Christina. But for me, I think people, as like the cold, dark months sort of go on, they start to, reflect inward and they start to sort of look at a little bit more maybe spiritual kind of values because the rush of the holidays is over. Like I'm going to make all these resolutions is over by then for a lot of people. Um, and so it seems like a good time when you're sort of, at home, quiet, to be thinking about the kinds of things I'm talking about.
I think that's a great idea, Tracy. Really good. And for your pre-launch, do you have bonuses that they're getting if they buy early or any?
If they buy the book early,
Yeah.
no, I don't control that. My publisher does.
Okay. Because I've seen sometimes it's used if there's like a mini, even if it's a video or an audio series from you or other resources. So Jill talking about the $47 offer today, that might be something that you could actually say, hey, buy the book and you can get this in addition. If it's obviously it's got to be that's got to be okay by your publisher. But
I was going to say, I asked that exact same question, and they said no, because then we would have to give you the data on who bought the books.
okay. Very interesting.
It is on sale on Amazon right now, though. I just noticed that the other day. So
Excellent. Great.
Very cool. I would make the other offer just stand alone and just put it out there. Ask people, who do you know that wants to have this information? Who do you know? If you're going to do the fairy thing, which I really think you should do the fairy thing because I do. I'm sorry, it's just me. But I start planning your fairy garden now, and then you can have access to your book in there too. And maybe I don't know if you can do discounts with Amazon or with your publisher, but you do this and you get 5% off, or I'll autograph your book if you want to mail it to me and pay for me to mail it back. I don't know.
yeah, I do have to put together a presentation anyway because I'll be going around and doing presentations and doing book signings.
Mhm.
So, that and I was thinking when you were saying earlier you didn't know how to separate things out. Like, were you talking about make the $47 offer? You've got that, you can sell that, but then if you're charging them $100 a year to get into premium, they get it included. Is that how
Yep.
that works? Okay.
Yeah. And you can set it up in the classroom, like either or. It's they've got really good over there now. All right, y'all. Iris, do you feel like we answered your questions good enough? Are you
Oh yeah. I mean, you and Maria yesterday in that little thread, was like the touching point, like the, first lift off, and then this helped a lot more. So, and I'm very grateful to this group.
okay?
Good.
Just want to make sure we get everybody covered. We're all good. Andrew, are you going to implement all these things that we've been telling you about all day today? This should keep you
Yes,
busy
I
all
am.
week.
Yes, I am. I'll be changing the website here within the next hour or so.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
Thank you so
y'all.
much, everybody.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for joining me, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.